The championship is being headed by Harry Storer. After 2 races at Croft, which he won both of them, Rob Smith is second in the championship and third is Kevin Bird. But the grid has grown somewhat since Croft. If you saw that, the grid is about 3 times bigger. So getting very much popular, this new category. And it is Owen Mills on pole position then. The pole car starts on the left-hand side of the circuit, the right of your screen. And alongside him is Adam Sparrow. A couple of them, those two though, both run in the invitational class because they are not registered for this championship. There's a lot of cars here for the MX-5 championship tomorrow, which is oversubscribed, so therefore some drivers that are reserved tomorrow have elected to race in the Clubman championship to make sure they get some racing in. On the second row is Scott Leach, another invitational car, and then alongside him is John Pethick, which is the pole position of the championship runners, but we're concentrating more about how the racing's going. On row 3 will be Chris Dawkins and Richard Baxter. On row 4, Thomas Mallet and Rob Greensmith. On row 5, Stephen Bartlett and Peter Higdon. On row 6 is Kevin Dengate and Jay Shepherd. On row 7, Harry Storer and Jordan Pimley. On row 8, Oak Richardson and Brad Jones. On row 9, Barney Francis and William Bream. On row 10, Neil Chisnell and Dan Blake. Row 11, Chris Watts and Andrew Dean. On row 12, Kevin Bird and Richard Bartlett. Row 13, Michael Kirk and Luke Stouch. On row 14, Charlie Brisker and James McCutcheon. On row 15, Jonathan Fieldsend and Dale Whiteman. On row 16, Tim Storer and Peter Williams. Row 17, Dave Sculler and Owen Woodwards. And on row 18, Steve Pegg and Keith Dalton. So that's 36 cars that are due to take the start then of this first of 2 races today for the British Racing Sports Car Club Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship. Be a 15-minute race, as I say, so another fast, frantic race to have, and these race ahead of the lunch break now and will race again at the end of the day. So 2 races today for the MX-5 Clubman's Championship. We've got 6 MX-5 races tomorrow to look forward to, but more about that later. A great grid then, as I say, of these cars, with Owen Mills then on pole position. He is running 11th in the championship, the MX-5 championship, not the Clubman's championship, which we will see tomorrow. Alongside him is Adam Sparrow. Then Scott Leach, a long-time Mazda MX-5 racer, starts third alongside John Pethick. So very difficult to know where the success is going to come in this race, because in qualifying, which took place in the damp this morning, 13 cars were separated by 1 second, and the 13th of those cars, Harry Storer, was the double winner from Croft last month. At Croft, second place went to Rob Greensmith and Richard Bartlett. Greensmith starts 8th and Bartlett starts 9th. They're both ahead of the championship leader on the grid here. And then Jay Shepherd and Kevin Bird were also podium finishers at Croft. And Kevin Bird qualified down in 23rd. Don't think Jay Shepherd is out there today. So the drivers that were successful at Croft, not so much at the front today at Silverstone, with a much bigger grid, a much more competitive grid as well, which should make for a couple of great races today for these Mark 1 Mazdas that run on Avon tyres, with limited modifications as well to make it an affordable way to go racing. And with this new format from the BRSCC for this year, it's a real good low-cost way to go Mazda MX-5 racing. Whether you're experienced or whether you're a novice and want to get involved in it, either is good for this category. So the race is about to get underway. We've seen the green flag waved at the back there, then the marshal on the start gantry put 5-second board up, then the red lights turn on and the race gets underway then. And from the inside of row 1, the second position sport, is Adam Sparrow going to get the better? No, he's not, of Owen Mills. So it's Owen Mills that leads his way through Copse Corner, and let's hope all 36 runners can get through here okay. There's a 66 near the back, that's David Scholar. And as we pan our way through Copse, it looks like everybody's done that one safely, and the leader starting to get away then. Owen Mills in the lead, getting away from Adam Sparrow. A challenge for third position. No, there's one on the grass, that's not ideal. The 88 car gets tagged. So 88 was the car of Barry Francis that got tagged. Couldn't quite tell who the car was across the grass. And there's a spinner there, that's 20 and 88, so 88 ended up spinning, so that's Barry Francis, and Chris Dawkins possibly was the other one. Not 100% sure. We'll confirm that at the end of the lap. But the rest of the field make their way down the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands for the first time. There is car 58 coming round the outside. That's Dale Whiteman. But out front and getting away is Owen Mills. So he's avoided all the issues behind. There's almost 3 abreast going on there as well. As they come to complete the first lap, but it's Mills that leads Sparrow by a second. In third is Scott Leach, so that's how they started. Up to fourth though, a good start from 550 is Thomas Mallet. There he is in 550 trying to come up the inside of Scott Leach. He couldn't quite do it. 778 Kevin Dengate made a good start, but he's sideways now trying to go around the outside of John Peffick, and also involved in that was 221 which is Chris Dawkins. But the top 2 have broke away from very much a battle pack behind, being headed by Scott Leach. There is 221 then. That is that car of Chris Dawkins, who was involved in that side-by-side action into Copse Corner. So the rest of the field head down the Wellington Straight for the second time of this race. 28, in fact, was the other car that spun earlier. That was Chris Watts. So into Brooklands they come. The top 4 cars, all invitational cars and not battling for championship points. The best of those is Chris Dawkins there in 5th place. So the leaders come out of Luffield, and Owen Mills doing a great job here, pulling away from the car of Adam Sparrow. But this is about a third, which is certainly exciting to watch. Scott Leach heading Thomas Mallet across the line, but Mallet comes to the inside, heading down towards Copse Corner, and he should slot in front then, and he does. Then you've got Chris Dawkins and John Pethick behind. 7th is Peter Higton, who's got himself ahead of Kevin Dengate, who we saw slide out wide at the end on the previous lap through Copse Corner. Lead gap is 1.8 seconds from Mills to Sparrow. Then for third, it's fully abreast now over the curbs at Maggots was Chris Dawkins, and I think he might have passed both of them there. So that was a great move from Chris Dawkins. Very committed over the curb to get third position then, away from not just Tom Mallet but also Scott Leach. And now it's 3 cars across the circuit at least, heading down the Wellington Straight. Has Dawkins held on here? Well, he's on the inside line of Mallet. Scott Leach is the third of the cars. He was at the head of this pack earlier. He can't pass Dawkins, but he might get Mallet, who runs out very, very wide. Chris Dawkins does too, though, so they've both lost a handful of positions. So Scott Leach is back into 4th, and up to 5th has come Peter Higton, who started down 10th on the grid, the former Toyota MR2 racer who swapped to Mazda MX-5 for this season, and he's got himself up to 5th. So that's been a great opening few laps from him. There is 150, John Pethick. Behind him is number 8, which is Richard Baxter. And for third position then, Peter Higton was trying to come around the outside of Scott Leach. Couldn't quite make it. It was actually for 4th. There's 550 trying to recover Tom Mallet. Remember, he ran out wide at Brooklands and dropped down to 8th position. Jay Shepherd was here, by the way, but he was running 11th, but looks like he's had an off and he's dropping down the order. So into Beckett's, there's Kevin Dengate on the outside line. On the inside is car 7, which is Oak Richardson. So that's a battle for 9th and 10th positions. There's yellow flags at Brooklands. I think that's where Jay Shepherd ended up. So Jay Shepherd, the driver that was a podium finisher at Croft, has had an off after running in 11th position. But for the battle here, Peter Higton comes round the outside of Scott Leach, but to the inside of both of them was 550 Tom Mallet, but that was all under yellow flags, so I'm sure the officials will be looking at that. But yeah, there was yellow flags into Brooklands. That could have all been done before the yellow flag zone, not for me to say. There's the car in the gravel, so it's on the exit of Luffield, so we had double waved yellows at Luffield Corner there, but across the line, 4 laps done. Owen Mills is now 4 seconds clear of Adam Sparrow, so he's clearly the quickest driver here. In this category. In third position is Chris Dawkins, 4th is Peter Higton, 5th is Thomas Mallet, 6th is Scott Leach. There's that car in the gravel. That's not the Shepherd car, I don't think. So there's 2 of them involved. So Jay Shepherd is somewhere else. That was 178 that was in the gravel at Luffield. That was Charlie Brisker. So it's battle off third position, turns its way back into Beckett's corner. There's 7 on the outside line. Oak Richardson looks like he's losing a position. And at the front of this group, Chris Dawkins is getting away now. So I think this becomes a battle for fourth. So there's second Sparrow, third is Dawkins, and for fourth position on the inside line is 550 Tom Mallet, who gained positions a lap ago. There's Scott Leach to the outside. We're still under yellow flags here though, so they shouldn't be racing each other really, and I think they have stayed just about in the same order, kind of, as they come out of Luffield Corner then. Peter Higden's dropped right back on that lap, so he's down to 7th. Into 4th has come Thomas Mallet. In 5th position is Scott Leach, and 6th is John Pethick as they come to the end of 5 laps. Owen Mills continues to lead. He's 4.4 seconds ahead of that man, Adam Sparrow, who's 1.9 seconds ahead of the third place car of Chris Dawkins, who's lapping slightly quicker. There's Peter Higden losing another position. That was Oak Richardson that come down the inside of him into Copse Corner to grab P7. You've got Kevin Dengate and you've got Stephen Bartlett all involved in that battle, but ahead of them Scott Leach is trying to fight back to the outside line there of Thomas Mallet. He couldn't quite make it work though. And then you've got John Pethick just behind them as they exit Beckett's for the 6th time of this 15-minute race. So down the Wellington Straight they go. Still yellow flags here, so there should be no overtaking. But again, they arrive into the yellow flag zone pretty much side by side. They sort themselves out with Thomas Mallet still in 4th. 5th is Scott Richardson, and 6th is John Pethick in that trio of cars that will pass the instant zone now at Luffield. The marshals here at Silverstone, I think, have pretty much cleared that car. They have. So on the next lap through Brooklands and Luffield, we should be back into a green flag racing zone. 6 laps completed. Almost a half distance now, pretty much now 7 minutes 30 on the clock, so we've been halfway through. We should get 13 laps into this race then, I would think. Owen Mills leads the way by 5 seconds over Owen Sparrow, who's starting to be closed in by Chris Dawkins. The gap from 2nd to 3rd, 1.6 seconds. Battle for 4th continues though. Thomas Mallet ahead of a new 5th place man because John Pethick is down the inside and ahead of Scott Leach. So Scott Leach loses another place. He started 3rd. He's dropped to 6th now in this race. So he's the one that's lost out of the front couple of road drivers really during the course of the first half of this race. There's Owen Sparrow, the 2nd place car. There's Chris Dawkins in 3rd. 4th is Thomas Mallet. In his tow is John Pethick now because he got ahead of Scott Leach, of course, at the beginning of the lap. Now we are in green flag racing zone through Brooklands and Luffield, so they can overtake, although that wasn't a situation at that time. So the leaders come out of Luffield Corner. We're going to get a 4th car into the battle for 4th because car number 7, Oak Richardson, has caught them. Oak Richardson started 15th, so this has been an outstanding drive from him, 15th up to 7th, and he might be able to buy more positions into this yet, and he's just at the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 12.244, and he's going for 6th up the inside of Scott Leach, and he gets it. So Oak Richardson, who didn't qualify so well in the damp this morning, is into 6th place. You'll see the novice cross on the back of his car, so very much a newcomer still to this and doing a great job to get into P6. A look up there for the 2nd place car of Adam Sparrow, who's being caught by Chris Dawkins all the time. He's only a second behind now at the start of the lap with Dawkins. It's probably less after that lock up from Owen Sparrow, who's 6 seconds behind the leader. You could just see the leader. There he is, car number 22, Owen Mills. We haven't seen much of him, but he's well clear in this race. 6 seconds ahead of Adam Sparrow. In 3rd position is Chris Dawkins. He's the first of the championship runners, by the way. Then for 4th, John Pethick trying to get the better of Thomas Mallet, couldn't quite do it. Then the new fastest lap driver in 6th position going sideways is Oak Richardson. Then in 7th is Scott Leach. There's a gap back to the 8th place car, which is Richard Baxter. In 9th is 501, which is the Jordan Pimley car, and then completing the top 10 is Dan Blake. So across the line they go. Another gap gained by the leader. So 6.6 seconds is ahead of this battle now that has started to develop for 2nd place. So you've got Adam Sparrow there in the 19 car, the BC Cars run machine. The Brian Chandler run car is just ahead of Chris Dawkins, who's catching all the time in the Go For It racing car as they turn their way through. Beckett's absolutely together then, nose to tail for 2nd and 3rd positions. And behind, I think there's been all change because it looks like Oak Richardson might have got himself into 4th there in the braking zone for Beckett's. So he's gaining more positions. But what about for 2nd? Chris Dawkins, who was a couple of seconds down earlier, is looking to come through. There is Richardson, so he did get past both Thomas Mallet and John Peffick at the beginning of the lap. Looks like Mallet might have lost more positions too, so perhaps a mistake from him. But there is the driver, car number 7, the fastest lap of the race, Oak Richardson, but he's got time to find to catch these two, the battle for 2nd place. There's only 4 minutes of the race to go. Owen Mills leads still in 2nd, continues to be Adam Sparrow, but under more pressure than he has been all race long from Chris Dawkins as they come up across the line. 6 seconds away from the leader they are now. Then in 4th position, 2.7 seconds behind that battle is Oak Richardson, so we'll see if he can catch at all. 5th is John Peffick, 6th is Scott Leach, 7th is Richard Baxter, 8th is Richard Bartlett, 9th Jordan Pimley, 10th is Dan Blake, and Thomas Mallet after that mistake dropped all the way down to 11th. So the battle for 2nd is side by side now. Defending into the hairpin is Adam Sparrow, but trying to go right round the outside of him is Chris Dawkins. But I don't... yeah, Dawkins runs out of road, doesn't he? All over the curb, so presumably he hasn't gone through, but he might. Been able to carry momentum okay, actually, and yeah, he's just having to tuck back in. But an attempt that didn't quite work, but he's still there to challenge, and he's challenging, he is, down into Brooklands on the left-hand side of the circuit, the inside line. Chris Dawkins goes through then into 2nd place. He started 5th, he's up to 2nd now after chasing down that car of Adam Sparrow, and now he's ahead. I don't think he'll get any further though, because Owen Mills, who's just flicked through shot there, is well ahead as the race leader. We're about to complete 10 laps. I don't think Adam Sparrow's done with this yet. He's trying to fight back. He's in the tow. He's coming to the left-hand side of the circuit out of Woodcote Corner because the new 2nd place man Chris Dawkins is defending from him. So the outside line of the Cops is his only option, and let's see if anything is made of that. Not quite. So they stay in the same order. Richardson's now only 2.2 seconds behind, so we'll have to monitor that gap to see if he can catch. There's the leader. We haven't seen much of him because he's been so far out in front. Owen Mills, who in the damp qualifying session wasn't much faster than anybody else, but certainly in these dry race conditions he's been able to pull away. Hasn't set the fastest lap, of course, because Oak Richardson has got that, but he's very much been the form man of this race. There he is, and 22, Owen Mills, the leader in the OMR run car. He's an invitational driver though, so won't be scoring points. The best of the point scorers is Chris Dawkins there in 221, who's keen to get 2nd position in this race. He's battling against another invitational car of Adam Sparrow, but it's all about the position on the track for them at the moment as they run side by side through Luffield Corner, and hanging on to 2nd for now is Chris Dawkins with 2 laps of the race to go. It will be a 13-lap race, and catching them rapidly is Oak Richardson. He might get there for the last lap. Side by side they are then. Across the line, just nosing in front actually, was Adam Sparrow, and he is ahead by the time they get to Cops. So Sparrow gets 2nd back, but now less than a second behind them is Oak Richardson, so he's caught a 2.5 seconds on that lap. Absolutely remarkable stuff. And it's 3 cars to battle for 2nd then on the final 2 laps of the race. Behind, Scott Leach had got himself into 5th ahead of John Peffick, but what about for 2nd into Beckett's? Looking up on the inside line is Chris Dawkins. He doesn't gain a place, he doesn't lose a position for now. He's going to be the championship point winner in this race, because the next point paying car is John Peffick, who's 6th overall. So the 2 cars he's battling with are not scoring points in this race, but he is keen nevertheless to get on the overall podium. But he's dropped behind Oak Richardson here, so Richardson's 3rd now. Remember, he started 15th, car number 7. You just watch go through your shot there, over the curbs on the inside line. The only driver of the novice cross as well in this battle for 2nd position. So they come out of Luffield, about to start their final lap of the race with Adam Sparrow ahead, but Oak Richardson is the charging driver. You can see the last lap board there being shown to our leader, Owen Mills, car 22, that turns his way into Cops Corner. And he looks good to get pole position and to win this race. He might catch a slower car to lap at the end. That shouldn't cause too much of a problem for him. So you can see the damaged car of 88 of Barry Francis, who was involved in the first lap incident, but he's still going to be running at the end. But Owens Mills then exits Beckett's and heads off down the Wellington Straight. He'll be racing tomorrow too, by the way, in the MX-5 Championship, so good bit of extra testing perhaps this has been for Owen Mills, and he's going to get a win out of it too. So breaks down into Brooklands, the left-hand corner, the corner where we see a lot of action in MX-5 racing, but Owen Mills hasn't really had to worry about battling anybody else. He's lapped that slower car. In the background there, too, good to see spectators back at Silverstone too. It's about of a second behind, very much continues, but let's watch the winner through. We won't see much of him, so let's give him his due. Well done then to Owen Mills, the winner of the third round of the British Racing and Sports Car Club Mazda MX-5 Clubman's Championship. But who's going to take second position? Who's going to get to the checkered flag first? Will it be Sparrow, Richardson, or will it be Dawkins? And as they come up across the line, then second place goes to Adam Sparrow. He hangs on just ahead of side by side Chris Dawkins, who got the better of Oak Richardson again. So Richardson misses out on the podium after that drive back through the field. Fifth was John Peffick, sixth was Scott Leach, seventh Richard Baxter, eighth Richard Bartlett, ninth was Jordan Pimley, and 10th was Thomas Mallet, who was much higher up earlier, of course. Outside the top 10, in the 11th position, Dan Blake, there you can see him just ahead of 17, which is Harry Storer. In 13th was Robert Greensmith. In 14th, Peter Higton, who lost positions in the second half of the race. In 15th, Brad Jones. 16th, Jonathan Fieldsend. 17th, Luke Souch. 18th was Richard Bartlett. 19th, Kevin Bird. And 20th was James McCutcheon. Cars still flowing across the line. And it looks like we're going to get 31 finishes on the lead lap. So majority of the cars taking the checkered flag. Let's take a look, though, at the highlights of the third round of the Mazda MX-5 Clubman's Championship. So as they got away, it was Owen Mills, the closest anybody was to him, was at this point. He made a good start, led into Copse Corner, and wouldn't really have to worry about looking in his mirrors anymore. But what a great sight this is. 36 Mark 1 Mazda MX-5s in only the second meeting for this championship. Battle for third position, I should say, was pretty good. It was Scott Leach who was there early on. There's Adam Sparrow who was second. Peter Higton was involved too, but it was Chris Dawkins that got himself into third and then managed to chase down Adam Sparrow to battle for second. Oak Richardson, the driver of the fastest lap, was a man on the mission from 15th on the grid. For second place, round the outside, tried to go Chris Dawkins. Then he got the toe down into Brooklands and managed to pass Adam Sparrow, but that wasn't the end of the battle. Because Oak Richardson joined in too, but then round the outside through Woodcote Corner, then down the inside into Beckett looking up. Chris Dawkins lost out to Adam Sparrow, who got second, but there, the winner, Owen Mills, he won by 9.5 seconds after 13 laps of racing. With Sparrow and Dawkins completing the podium and Oak Richardson taking fourth. So great stuff from the Mazda MX-5 Clubman's Championship. The winner, Owen Mills, will be down in the pit lane with Jamie Peters-Ennis.
Thanks, Josh. Another great race from the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Clubman's Championship. Their first race of the day. Our winner was Owen Mills, and Owen, you checked out after that. It was a good 8-second gap there. You've got to be good with the way it's started for you today.
Yeah, we weren't expecting to be in the Clubman. We entered the main championship. We're top 10 in the main championship and just qualified 8th, so we've ended up in the Clubman, unfortunately. But yeah, just used it as a bit of a test session, really. Checked out at the start and yeah, just kept it clean.
Excellent, well done. Second place was Adam Sparrow. Adam, if you'd like to come over. Adam, well done. I think we'll basically say you were busy, weren't you?
Yeah, very busy. I couldn't quite get the pace at the start of the race, but then once I started getting used to it, because it's my first time in the car for 2 years, so once I got used to it, then picked up the pace. But by that time, I had my mirrors full, so I had to worry about them behind.
And you were driving pretty much the world's widest MX-5, and of course you've not been in it for 2 years. Was it hard to get your head around it all again, or did it just come back straight away?
It takes a little bit of time, to be honest, but I haven't. The last time it was 2 years, I'd only been in it for a little bit. I'm normally karting, to be honest. But got there eventually, and yeah, happy with the result.
Excellent stuff, well done. Third place was Chris Dawkins. Chris, if I can get you just to pop your balaclava or mask on, just for the protocol, if that's okay. That's all right, don't worry. Of course, we've all got to wear masks down here in Park Fair, mate. Absolutely fine. Fabulous third place for you. Great start to the day.
Yeah, awesome. First time I've been out of the Mark one since 2014. Didn't test yesterday, but it was just thanks to Go For It Racing and Martin Tolley for lending me the car. Great fun. Very rusty, half the size of, those guys are half the size as well, so carrying a bit of natural ballast, but no, I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the second race.
Yeah, I suppose testing yesterday, it was a complete washout, wasn't it? I mean, it was damage limitation. You don't want to risk the car, and of course it's the Clubman Series. It's a one-day event, so you going into race 2, you're going to try and go 1 or even 2 better.
Try to. Going by the weather forecast later, it's a bit sort of 50-50. I think we're out at about 5:30. I like the wet. This is where this will come into good advantage. But we'll see. I mean, either way, really, I think that getting rid of the rustiness, and these guys were quick, just see what happens. Should be good, though.
Excellent stuff, well done. So there's your top 3 for the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Clubman's Championship.